we work with emails every day nowadays, and you mostly use your mobile app for that in Android or in iOS. But you can also go to something called a web browser, which looks something like this. It could be like it can be Mozilla Firefox. It could be Google Chrome. It could be the Internet Explorer or Microsoft Edge. They also call it Microsoft Edge. So these are different browsers that you can use to access, and specifically these were for Windows. Although most of these are also available for Mac OS or other Android or iOS as well. So let's go to gmail.com. So as soon as you do that, you will find your inbox, and there we will be learning a few things. And so we need to first of all change our account. So this is something that you need to do every time you go to your email. You must make sure, and this is something that sometimes even us we do make a mistake with that. So I have like so many accounts I have been using, or some of my some people from my home they have been using. So all of these are listed over here. So you have to make sure that here, by clicking on this area, you should make sure that you are actually uh, using the right account for the right purpose. So if you're sending an email to your workplace, or to your colleagues, or to your family, or to your teachers at the university, you have to select the right account for that. So that was the first thing, and then you can see different parts on the left hand side in my inbox. So I'll be showing you my inbox for demonstration. So I have like the some of the things are like inbox, or starred emails, or snoozed emails, or sent, or drafts. So the Gmail has really revolutionized the how we visualize the emails, and they have actually introduced what we call conversations. So here you can see in this example that we are using, here we can see we are using, yeah. So this is the thread that I created for all of our emails. So here you can see that I input all the emails at the very beginning, and then whenever I need to tell you guys something through the email, I simply go to this thread, and then I you know click this tiny these three dots, and then I go to reply to all, and it copies all the people that I already emailed in this box. So here you can see all the list of recipients in the to category is already there. So now I simply write my email, and by the way, for conversation, the subject line doesn't change. This is the subject line that I wrote the very first time I started this email conversation. So this subject line is never going to be changed. And the second thing that you may notice over here is that if you click these three tiny dots inside the what we call the body of the email. Body of the email is where you can type any message you like. You can type text mostly, and you can also insert images. So you click these three dots, and you can see the complete previous conversation in this, what I like to call a thread. A thread, by the way, in computer science or in computer world, is also another name for conversation. So a thread is something like a conversation, and you can actually continue your posting your messages, or so threads, the name threads came from discussion forums. This is a category of website that is being used frequently by many people still to this date. So this is the body of the email. Inside the body of the email, you have to you can see all the previous conversations. So as we go along so you can opt to send an email to all the recipients in this thread, and you can also opt to send an email directly to me. So for example, if you look at this, so this is the combined thread of all the class, but here you can see that this person is directly emailing to me and no one else. So if you go to these three buttons and you simply use the reply thing, you can opt to do that. But if you want to go to the three buttons and use reply to all the recipients are going to be copied just like they were before in the previous email that you're using it accessing it from. So let's go back to our thread again, and yeah. So this was about how you can organize your email or your inbox. Another way that I have just started using is these starred messages. So what you can do is you can customize the look of your inbox by first of all selecting some conversations and using this star on the left side, and what you can say starring these conversations, right? So the first thing that I did was this: I starred some of the conversations. Then I went and I went to this button, which is, you know, the no, sorry, this button, the settings button. And here you can see that they have you know, provided with quick settings menu. Here you can select what kind of you know, inbox view you like. So I don't like compact view, and I don't like the default view. These are extreme ends of the spectrum, but the thing that I like most is the medium one, which is comfortable, where you know, we don't see the attachments and we don't see too many emails, but we see a moderation of both of these. Similarly, you can select the theme, like for example, you can select this Lego theme maybe, and all of the theme will be applied to your inbox. So I don't know if I can get back to my old one or not, but this is how. So let's live with this for now. Okay, then you can select the inbox type. So coming back to those starring of messages, so if you select this starred first option in the inbox type, so every time this inbox is going to be shown in two parts. The first part is all the starred messages. They will be showed on top, and then there will be your actual inbox with everything that is there, even the star ones or everything else. So that is called everything else. So this is something that is really that can really come in handy when, for example, I have to communicate with you quite frequently. So it's easier for me to locate my thread if I've starred that thread, and I simply select that thread, and I can quickly go into our class or any other class. So you see, I have mostly starred the things that I use most and some of the previous ones, so we can unstar them as well. And you can also select how many of the starred messages do you want to see. For example, I want to have them shown up to 5 items only, so only 5 star messages are now shown using these 3 dots, right? And similarly, you can use these 3 dots to select how many of the everything else, or in other words, the inbox items you want to see in the lower half of the page. So this is totally under your control. You can customize your inbox like this, and then you will be able to actually work better. So your effort is going from working inefficiently towards going towards working efficiently, and that actually is not something to be taken lightly. Let me tell you guys, you guys are young, so you're starting your journeys, professional journey, so you need to know that you have to create a balance between your you know, work life and your you can say personal life. So you can always do that if you work efficiently. If you don't work efficiently, if you spend or waste too much of the your time on tiny things from work, you're not going to be able to give good or get good personal time or time for your family. So you have to learn to work efficiently. So this was one of those you can say tricks or hints that you can use. So second thing I would like to show you is that every time I click this compose button, I can see something which is written over here. I did not type it. This is inside the body of the email, but it is already there. This is called an email signature, and this signature, although it may not look like a normal signature that we do, but this is called a signature because it is particular to me only, because no one will have the same phone extension and the same office number. By the way, I haven't written the office number over here. So anyways, so how do you can also create that. Some people also write different quotations or different things inside their email signatures. So let's create one. So I hope everyone is using some kind of device, so they can go to the settings. um, and if you're using any other device than the desktop Windows, then obviously it is going to be slightly problematic, because I won't be able to show you the for Android or iOS or for some tablet, or even for Mac OS or Ubuntu, I won't be able. So you have to need one of those computers, right? So once you have that, and you go to gmail.com, and there you log in, and you go to the settings, and you select all, see all the settings, then you're going to see a list of all the configuration settings that you can change. And if you scroll down into the inside the general tab, this is the general tab. If you scroll down, you will be able to find what you call the email signature, and this is the called my signature. You can actually even create a new signature, but we're not going into that. So you can type any text and then give it formatting. This is called formatting. Like, I can select a text, and then I can click bold, and that text will become bold. Or I can actually select some of the text, and I can go and select this is the background color of the text, and this is the foreground color of the text. So you can change the color of the text as per your liking. You can do that. And so yeah, so I want you guys to and this is a kind of a standard practice. I would say that first of all, you write your name, then you write down that I'm a student of like you can write down here university student, and then you can write down here the majors that you're using, like psychology, department of psychology or something like that. Then you can write down university name and then your phone numbers or stuff. So this is how you create your email signature. So I would like you to do that, and if there's anyone finds any difficulty, they can ask. The second thing that is rarely used by me, but people use it, it's called the vacation responder. And vacation responder is something that you can set using some kind of dates. And so vacation responder is an automatic email generator. Anyone who sends you an email during this time period, which is written over here up to this point, so they will automatically get an email that you write over here. This was the second you can say thing, noticeable feature of Gmail. And then there are of course many other things that we can talk about, but right now I'm just going to skip over all of those options. Labels are really good thing which you can create and you can organize. So I used to, in the previous old days, you can see that I used to create labels and I used to organize the emails of students using labels. But then I found out that it was becoming very hectic, so uh, I adopted two different techniques. One was that that I use Moodle now for collection of assignments and class activities, and then I communicate on a single thread, just like I have shown you over here, that everyone can send and receive emails in the same thread. So it's really easy for me to. So I was saying that if you want to create an email, you can just use this compose button, and then you can there are different sections. So let me tell you the sections first. There can be some people to whom I want to send this email, right? So for example, I want to send an email to a person. I can type their name, and if I have already sent or received emails from them, their name will immediately appear over there. And then there is a CC section, which is short for carbon copy. It's from the olden days when we used to send photocopies to different offices, and they mentioned on the document to whom the photocopies are being sent. So the list of those people used to be printed on the same letter, which was directly directed to someone else, but it was also being sent as information to someone else. So for example, in CC, maybe what can I write? Yeah, so let's suppose Amir Hamza. This is our carbon copy person. And similarly for for BCC, I am writing BCC is for blind carbon copy, right? So let me write down over here. Two is all the email addresses directly addressed, the people who you really want to give the message to. And CC is short for carbon copy, which is you know all the people, all the email addresses, in other words, people who should know what's going on. And BCC is short for blind carbon copy. And these are also all the people who should know what's going on, but very important, but uh, people from CC, from 2 and CC must not know that people from BCC are also getting this email, right? These things are. So BCC is something when you want the people to get information, but you don't want the people from the 2 category or from the CC category to know whether the people from BCC are also receiving that email. So let me give you an example for that. For example, I am an employee, right? I am an employee, right? So I have a client. I have a, you can say, grumpy, I don't know if that's the right word or not, grumpy client. And I also have a boss. I am not from sales office. Okay. So let me give you an example. I can send the email directly to client, and I could be send using CC for, let's suppose, the sales department, and I could be using the BCC for my boss. So I was having a quarrel or some kind of conflict resolution between myself and my client. So I am having that conversation through emails with that client, so that therefore the client is in the two category. I am a senior officer in the company, but the sales of the conflict that we have with the client is related to the sales department. So sales department will be in the CC of our conversation, so the client knows that sales is getting the emails. I know that sales is getting the email, right? And I have included my boss in the in the blind carbon copy. The boss can see the messages which are being sent from me to the client or from the client to me, but the client cannot see, or the sales department cannot see, that my boss is also receiving those emails. Why would I do that? Anyone would like to comment on this, that why would I do such an arrangement? We can also call it a hidden list. That's a good word. And but the reason is slightly different in these scenarios, and that is that uh, because I am just a representative of my company, and my boss is answerable to my actions as well, because I am working under my boss. So whatever I say to the client, and if it is of a nature that can be considered, or held accountable at some point, our actions, so my boss should be aware of our dealings between myself and the client, so that in the future, if there is an investigation by some other department, my boss is at least aware of what happened between me and my client. So he is not absolutely in the dark, that whatever was how should be the subject line written? Subject line is like the topic of the conversation, so it should be very brief. Not very, it should be brief, but it should convey the complete essence of the thing that is being said or is going to be said inside the email, right? So try to write in this manner. For example, I want to request furniture in my office to the from the logistics department in FCC. So I would be what could I be writing? Let me first what comes what how I would be writing it, and then you should be comparing. So I give you 10 seconds and think about what you would be writing, and don't say it out, and then compare it with my what I'm going to write. That's it. This is what I will be writing when I send out an email to our logistics department in FCC that I need some new furniture. That's it. Okay. So whenever they see this message in their email, so they will know. So I see some students making mistakes with writing very, very long sentences in subject lines, or sometimes simply skipping the subject line. Very bad thing. Never skip a subject line. And slightly lesser bad thing is writing the complete query or message in the subject line. Very bad thing. So going to the body of the email. So always start with a polite thing, and then you start your conversation again politely. The politer the better. I see faculty members, I see my people who are directly administratively working for me in FCCU. They lack this seriously lack this I would say training, that how you should write emails. So it's not whenever you write emails, you should think about you can never visualize how, if you receive the same thing, how would you react, right? So you have to, and that is probably the most important reason why you should write in a very standard way, right? You should write in a very standard way. Start with dear sir, dear ma'am, and then first of all introduce yourself. If you're a student, you're just imagine you being the professor, and you are teaching 140 students in one semester, in three different courses of three different sections. So how will I know who you are? Although you can write it in the signature, that's the best thing. If it is very readable, you can mention your whereabouts or your introduction in the in the signature. But always you can write down, I am a student of CSCS 100 section, and etc., like this. So this is what you must do. This is what you need to do, and then you politely, as I there is not enough that can be emphasized on being polite in emails, that because what you read can be very easily misunderstood. Saying something with all your face being visible, or at least the eyes in current scenario, you give some impressions, so that can make up for bad communication or bad choice of words. But in emails, so there is no coming back from what you send to someone. So do you think an email can be deleted from the sender side? So let me show you another feature of Gmail. You go to all settings. You you pay attention to this feature. This is called undo send cancellation. You can see that I have mistakenly sent an email, and here you can see message sent, undo, view message. If I click view message, the message will be gone. But if I click undo within 20 seconds, and which is definitely not passed by now, the email doesn't go away, doesn't go or reach the recipients. So now I can simply click this delete button or discard draft, and this email is discarded. So I encourage you to change the this undo send option to anywhere above 10 seconds, because it gives you a time to think about what you have just wrote and undo. And I very often press the undo button because suddenly something comes to mind. Oh, I forgot to add that, or I forgot to write that, or did I wrote something wrong, or stuff like that, right? So I was talking about the body of the email. And yeah, so you introduce yourself, you describe what you want to say, what you think should be done with whatever you want, and then you close the statement by something like looking forward to hearing from you, maybe. And so, and then you say best regards or something like that. You can change everything I've written over here based on your liking or disliking. So then you write the email signature, right? So every time you do that, please use email signature to and by the way, I am doing so many typos over here, but in Gmail you can immediately see a red line under this, so you will be able to correct your spelling mistakes as you go along. And these, you can say, are proper etiquettes to send or write or compose emails. Any questions or any comments, please, you can speak now. You can also, by the way, use the this formatting bar to change. Oh yeah, another thing about the attachments. So there is something very important which is called the email attachment. This is like a paperclip sign, right? This is a paperclip sign which is a universal, you can say, icon used for email attachment. This is a paperclip sign on the bottom over here, and you can click this and you will be taken to a local disk view. This is my local computer where I have all my disks and all my files stored on this, on my computer. I can select a file from there. The second option is that I can insert my file from the Google Drive. So if I have the file on Google Drive, I can click this insert file using Drive. So I will be taken to my Google Drive, and there are so many folders and files. I can select any file or folder from this place. For example, the chair image again. So let me select the chair image. Here it is. So I insert the chair image, and now the chair image appears over here. Sometimes it appears under the signature, sometimes over. Doesn't really make much difference. And yeah, so that's about it. And you can also insert links to websites. So for example, I want to insert a link to google.com. So I would do www.google.com, and I will select all the text, and I will click this insert link option. And if it's a valid website address, which is also called a URL, which we will see in future why we call it a URL and what it means. Then if it's a valid URL, then it automatically converts into a clickable link. So now I can, when I send this email, I will be able to click this line to go to google.com, right? And similarly, I can align the text. Like for example, if I want to have it aligned towards the right side or the left side, or maybe give it indentation like this, so I can control the text formatting as well. So yeah, any questions?